Hello and welcome back to the Punchers Chance podcast, and welcome to the preview show where we have a look forward at everything coming up this weekend in boxing. This weekend that is Jack Rafferty versus Mark Chamberlain and the rest of that card, as well as Skye Nicolson back down under. But before that, we are going to be talking about Anthony Joshua and what is next. Is it Jake Paul? Is it Tony Yoka? Let's have a look. Before that, subscribe. We have 2 podcasts coming out every week. Lots of great content on social media, so subscribe or follow for that. Straight into the action. Anthony Joshua, Tony Yoka, is it in Ghana? Is it going to be Jake Paul? Is the Jake Paul talk smoke and mirrors? Is it contract negotiations? What is it?
I don't know. I suppose it depends on what Joshua's looking at for the rest of his career now, whether he wants to. I think the Yoka fight makes more sense for trying to get back to world titles, or if he's just looking at money, then the Jake Paul, I think there's a real possibility of that fight that happens because of the money that would be involved. I don't know why it makes much sense for Jake Paul, because he's just going to get beat. But
beat. I think there's another word for what's going to happen to Jake Paul.
Yeah, he gets ended. But
I'd really like to see the fight in Ghana with Tony Yoka, because I know they've been looking or scouting potential
locations in Accra.
So that'd be pretty cool, because I don't think we've ever had that in our lifetimes, like a big boxing event in Africa. I could imagine the atmosphere would be very good out there, especially for Anthony Joshua being out there. So I'd like to see that happen next. Whether we will get it is another thing, but yeah, hopefully we see that.
I think for me, the good thing about the Tony Yoka fight is it still makes commercial sense. Obviously, the Jake Paul fight makes absolute commercial sense, complete and utterly. Money talks in boxing, and that we saw it with the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. That doesn't make sense, but we saw it because of the money involved, and we've seen so many fights.
Listen, boxing's all about money, ain't it? At the end of the day,
that's what makes it go by.
Exactly, and you can see it now. There'll be an offer on the table for Joshua to fight Tony Yoka, but then there'll be an offer that is quadruple the amount of money that he would get paid to fight Yoka to fight Jake Paul. The only problem I've got with the Jake Paul fight is it shouldn't be happening first and foremost. But the only problem I've got is who's going to be sanctioning it. Where is it going to take place? Because there's talks of it happening at Wembley, and when I hear that, I go to myself, well, surely that's the British Boxing Board of Control sanctioning it. And then the second thought in my head, I'm thinking, how can they sanction it? Jake Paul, when he fought Mike Tyson, when was it? Back in November. We all knew what was going to happen in a way. We knew that Jake Paul's young and all that. Mike Tyson.
Oh, you're not saying it's
I'm not
predetermined.
I'm not saying it's predetermined and all that. But I think we knew that Jake Paul was going to win anyway. I think that's how it was going to play out. Anyone that knows boxing knew that Jake Paul was going to win. As much as it pained us to say it, because Mike Tyson is one of my favourite boxers. You speak to so many boxers that we speak to, idols. They go Mike Tyson. They grew up with him and all that. So that was sad to see. It'll be sad to see him fight Anthony Joshua, because I feel like Anthony Joshua still got a lot to give in the heavyweight division. And I feel like you look at that fight, like Ben said, Tony Yoka, that's a great fight for Anthony Joshua to sort of come back to, especially in Africa. There hasn't been a massive card there in ages. I know that Amir Khan's promotional company is trying to do stuff in Africa, which is great to see. But I can see it now. I can see Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul. There's no other fight out there that will get Anthony Joshua the money, because I don't think that Tony Yoka fight gets money. Well, Tyson Fury's retired at the moment,
That's the fight that gets the money.
Exactly. But if he doesn't get that, then it's Jake Paul. And if it happens, then as much as we'll probably talk about it and say it shouldn't be happening, we're going to watch it, because that's what Jake Paul's all about, ain't it? You're going to watch Jake Paul to see him either win, you want him to win, or you want him to lose and get stopped and all. And I can only see that fight going one way.
Yeah, I agree. With the talk of the fight in Africa, is there a world where the Martin Bakole fight in Africa is a better fight?
I think so.
Martin Bakole,
dangerous.
He's a Congolese man through and through. He is, and I mean that in no disrespect at all. But Anthony Joshua is British Nigerian, whereas Martin Bakole is a Congolese man, and I think having that fight in Africa would be monumental for African boxing. You would see the next Martin Bakole, the next Anthony Joshua pop up in almost every country in Africa in the years following that, because it would be huge. And I think in a world where if it takes the Jake Paul fight first, before we see that fight, I'd be willing to wait and let Martin Bakole have another fight and then make that 2 in somewhere like Ghana or in Lagos or in, wherever that may be. I think that would be phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, I think Bakole is probably he is a more recognised name than Yoka as well, isn't he? Like, Yoka's really underperformed since turning over professional, but I don't know whether there's looking at that Yoka fight, is there a sense with Joshua and his team, they know he'd be comfortable enough to beat Yoka, look good again, get a stoppage, build your stock back up after losing to Dubois, and then see where you go from there in terms of, whether Fury is about for that fight or whether he looks at fighting Jake Paul for taking the money before he calls it a day. Like, I don't know, but...
Do you think Jake's trying to call his bluff? As in, if Anthony Joshua picks the Yoka fight, he can say Anthony Joshua didn't want to fight me, and then he looks good from it. Is that what he's trying to do here? And is there a part of us that wants Jake and Eddie to go on then? And call his bluff on him.
You can see it now. You can see that Eddie Hearn wants that Jake Paul fight because the money in it. The money involved is going to be huge.
Or is it squeezing that extra 5% in the negotiations out of Tony Yoka? Is it squeezing the negotiation, saying we've got this really attractive offer that we're really thinking about for him to finally, we've seen it before with other fights.
I think it's a mix with Jake Paul between, we've seen it plenty of times, like he's gone from calling, in the same sentence, he's gone from sort of calling out Anthony Joshua all the way down to Gervonta Davis. Yeah. So like, he just calls out names for the sake of it, I think, just to like, not maintain relevancy, because he's obviously very relevant within the sport, but almost like he like drops these names almost to be like, oh yeah, I am thinking about challenging these people. I want to challenge them. It's the fact that they don't want to fight me, sort of thing. But then at the same time, I think he also looks at the Joshua fight of the amount of money he'd get paid is worth stepping in there, getting beat. And then after going, oh, well, I got beat by a 2-time world champion. It's like, it's part of the sport. It is what it is. He could end up getting seriously hurt in that fight. But he could also come out of it, probably take a couple of massive shots, get stopped in the corner, and go, yeah, I've been beaten by a world champion. Like, none of you lot are going to step in with someone like Anthony Joshua. So,
and he's not wrong. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I can sit here and say all that, but if he did actually get in there with him, then you got to give him at least some. There's
some credit to getting in there against a 2-time world champion, someone of Joshua. The way he knocked out Francis Ngannou, I'd be looking at thinking I wouldn't want to take that punch. No matter
no.
There's a lot of money you have to be paid before you think it's worth risking or waking back up from one of them.
Yeah, because like you say, the way he did dispatch Ngannou and the inexperience of Ngannou.
Compared to what he was like, yeah, well, look what Tyson Fury can do that against Ngannou, and then look what AJ did. And I'm not comparing Jake Paul to Francis Ngannou in any sense, but the other interesting thing I touched upon, will it happen in the UK or will it happen in America? Because you need to look at the sanctioning bodies of this now, and who's going to be sanctioning a fight.
I'd have thought it'd happen in Texas, probably.
Texas, I was about to say Texas, because Texas
AT&T
was
Stadium, or whatever it is, in
the
Arlington.
same state that Mike Tyson, Jake Paul happened in. They've got a reputation, I hear, and all that. I don't think
so. Go as well, or would that be DAZN? Would it be Netflix?
It would be
Netflix with MVP, wouldn't it? Surely.
Nah, surely AJ's got to be the main event. But I don't know if their matchroom would want to promote that.
But would it be
Anthony
event? Joshua, Jake Paul, or would it be Jake Paul, Anthony?
Have to be Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul. It would have to be. There is no world.
But imagine if it's Paul.
There is
Joshua.
no world in or outside of the boxing ring in which Jake Paul is a bigger name than Anthony Joshua. I just don't see it. He's not.
No,
he's not. Anthony Joshua is that guy. He was the nation's sweetheart, Olympic gold medalist. He is.
But you say all this, but then he's fighting Jake Paul, and it's like, oh come on, we don't want it, do we?
I don't know. I'm not mad at it.
What else? What else is he going to do with him in it? If Tyson Fury is not interested in taking any sort of...
Tyson Fury still thinks he can fight Usyk in a trilogy, can't he?
He probably is going to. That's the thing. He'll probably get Fury and Usyk will fight each other. Usyk will beat Fury again. Fury will retire saying, "Oh, they just cheated me out 3 times," and then Usyk will retire as one of the best heavyweights that we've ever seen.
I love when you talk about Tyson. You get so there's like a change in your demeanour. It's funny.
It is because
we got a lot of views from it.
I rate Tyson Fury. I just don't think he has got. He's a very good boxer, but his resume isn't as good as what he makes out. And he also is very good at skirting round certain fights.
And I feel like with Jake Paul as well, going back, when he fought a professional boxer, Tommy Fury, he lost.
There's no world whatsoever that he beats Joshua or it's even competitive.
It's just how he loses to Joshua, I think, is...
It's whether it stops. I think it'll be a case of they'll throw the towel in before anything...
You hope
before he gets dropped badly.
Or take a dive, or...
You hope that the corner would go with Jake Paul if he is getting properly battered, that they'll throw the towel in, because... Like you say, he can get seriously hurt in this fight, and that's what you don't want to happen.
It depends on how much Joshua looks at it as, I can jump in there and have a move around, take this money and move on.
Like an exhibition sort of style.
I don't think he would.
Or whether he goes in there and goes, I'm going to flatten him.
I don't think... I think the way, with what we saw with the Ngannou fight, that was... people were talking about...
a point.
It was proving a point. It was putting a full stop and saying, no.
But does he need to do that with someone like Jake Paul?
No, I don't know if he needs to, but he will.
Because people looked at that Ngannou fight and thought that Ngannou posed a threat to him, whereas no one, unless you're a fucking idiot, are going to think that Jake Paul poses any type of threat to Anthony Joshua.
I think the ego says, I need to show just how much better than Jake Paul I am. I am going to put... a full stop, question mark, exclamation mark, every end to the conversation that we and him should be sharing a ring. And I think he would do that. I think he'd have to. You don't become a two-time world champion without that kind of mentality of, if you're in front of me, I'm going to get you out of there.
Does it happen this year? End of this year or early next year?
There is still a sense for me that it doesn't happen, because I think it is all just talk for... not relevancy, but like it just creates headlines.
It keeps AJ's name in the sort of in the papers, so to speak.
That's
in
what
the big talk.
said about. He said he's lost to Daniel Dubois. He hasn't fought in ages, and he's still relevant. Everyone's still talking about Anthony Joshua, and it goes back to your point. He is still a big star, and that's what makes sense with that Tony Yoka fight in Africa.
People still watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I want to say Yoka was in the Olympics at the same time as AJ in London 2012. So there's some sort of narrative you can go down there, and like Ben touched on as well, he hasn't had the best of professional careers, Yoka. I think he's lost to like Carlos Takam.
Was he not fighting in the Mecca in Swindon?
He was fighting. He fought on Nielsen
on a Nielsen show. Yeah, the Mecca in Swindon and Tolworth Recreational Centre.
Oh, yeah, they're the spiritual home of boxing.
Absolutely.
The only other thing I like the idea of with the Joshua Jake Paul fight as well is, obviously, because it would be massive in terms of headlines, Joshua gets a good win, everyone starts talking about him, and then Tyson Fury looks and goes, I need to
get jealous.
Yeah.
A bit jealous. Yeah, maybe.
That ego comes out a bit, and he goes, all right, I need to get in there with Joshua now.
How many rounds as well, if they do it, surely it can't be more than 8.
What, AJ or AJ Yoka?
8 or 10 rounds.
I don't think it'd be any more than...
Joshua Yoka's 10-rounder. They'll get a belt for that.
There'll be some IBF Intercontinental.
Yeah, just be something to put him back in world rank, like a world rankings.
So what we're saying then, Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul is happening next for AJ, or will it be Joshua,
I think
Yoka,
Joshua, Tony Yoka?
I think it's Joshua Yoka, and I think the Jake Paul is all smoke and mirrors.
Okay, yeah, I like it. I agree.
Well, there we go.
Then
why did we talk about Jake Paul?
Exactly.
Give me the views. That's why.
But you're doing that. We don't get none of that.
Yeah, we're not getting paid. No. But thank you anyway. On to the boxing coming up. The real stuff. The proper boxing.
It's a proper fight.
Yeah, Jack Rafferty, Mark Chamberlain is a real fight. It's a fight that a year ago you'd be probably saying to yourself, well, no, because Mark Chamberlain's going to walk through Josh Padley and then he'll be onto the world title scene. And
I think that's what all of us said.
And Jack Rafferty is he's not really in the picture anymore. And then, a couple wins for Jack Rafferty later, still unbeaten. Mark Chamberlain having lost to Josh Padley, and you're thinking, hang about, this is a serious domestic clash now.
Yeah, and it almost feels like it's big for Mark Chamberlain, I think. Big, because if he loses this back-to-back losses, it takes him, like you said, from the cusp of fighting for a world title to where is your career going sort of vibe. But Jack Rafferty's very good.
Yeah. I remember we all
the Henry Turner fight was the one for me.
Yeah.
We all wrote him off a little bit for that Henry Turner fight, and
it's just because we watched plenty of fights with Henry Turner beforehand, and even though he was lesser experienced going into that fight, the way he was getting rid of people, you just thought, he looks like he's gonna just blitz through people. But Rafferty showed real talent in that fight to sort of not even survive those early rounds. I think he just navigated them so well, tired Henry Turner out and stopped him with real precision. And I think this fight on Saturday is going to be really good.
I love the way that Rafferty sort of turns the screw in a fight. The way he wrestles that upper hand, gets a little bit of an upper hand, and then just slowly as the fight goes on, he just turns up that heat a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. It's like when you're cooking pasta and you just, you turn that heat up a little bit more,
bubbling nice,
move that lid over a little bit more, till you get that perfect bubble, and eventually it bubbles over, and that's the stoppage for Jack Rafferty. And I know that was an Adam Smith analogy. That was a bit out there, but
yeah, it's good though.
I like the way he does it. I like the way he keeps putting on that pressure until you break, and it's going to take a good fighter to not break under that pressure or to wrestle back the upper hand themselves. Could Mark Chamberlain do it? Absolutely. He's got the hands to do it. Will Mark Chamberlain do it? I don't know.
You talked about a good fighter testing Rafferty. Before that fight card in Wembley last September, we were all very high on Mark Chamberlain, weren't we? Like, Mark Chamberlain could, if he gets through this, which we all expected him to do so emphatically as well, I think, then he's like onto world honours in a way. He's up on those big Riyadh season cards on a more consistent basis and all that. But Jack Rafferty, he is very good. He's very watchable. He's good on the eye and all that. And I think it's a good domestic clash, this.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want.
It depends what sort of Mark Chamberlain turns up, I think. And you're looking back on his... he's only fought once since that Padley loss. I thought he would have been a little bit more active. I don't know if there's been any injuries or anything like that. I haven't read into it. But he's gone the distance in his last fight there. But I think that this could be, like Ben said, this can be a very good scrap for how long it lasts as well. Because I think both men have got that sort of power where, like you say about the pasta sort of thing, when it boils over and the light and the flames go out underneath, that's when... Ooh. It could play into the.
I like it.
Has that ever happened to you, mind, when you're cooking pasta? Have you ever left it?
This turned into a cooking podcast.
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay now. Have you ever left it a little bit too long and then you're like, oh, where's the flames gone?
No. Have you ever
half cooked pasta?
I had a housemate who used to cook the pasta for like 25 minutes, and it would just
name and shame him.
Piper, if you're not listening, but if you were, stop cooking your pasta so long, man. It's gluten-free pasta as well. It's grim. Yeah, horror show.
It does show how quickly boxing moves on it, because like we were looking at Chamberlain and Sam Noakes at one point, like which of them is going to get to that world title picture first, and now, well, Noakes has got that world title fight, and Chamberlain is I feel like he does need to win, or at least show something really special this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. This would be, but equally, you can absolutely see why he takes the fight for the British and Commonwealth. This is a statement of intent. If he beats Jack Rafferty, then they go, yeah, okay, he probably is that world level fighter that we thought he was going to be. Maybe not a world title winner, but certainly a world level fighter if he's able to get through Jack Rafferty. But we'll have to wait and see, and obviously give our predictions at the end for the Boxing News app. Zach Miller versus Leon Woodstock, featherweight clash. It's a good little fight.
It is. Very decent. And Zach Miller's been on a great run since, November 2023 against Nathaniel Collins. Obviously now Collins is sort of the face of Scottish boxing in a way now after Josh Taylor retiring. Great performance last time out against Masood Abdullah. I thought that was a really good showing there. And Leon Woodstock is a very, very good opponent for him. I remember one of our boys, Rhys Edwards from down here in Wales, was meant to fight Leon.
Barnsley, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that fight might have fell through, but it's a good test for Zach Miller.
No, it was because Rhys Edwards went in with Peter McGrail instead, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, late call up
in Saudi. But
he's taken Kurt Walker the distance.
Yeah, and I think his other losses are only Zelfa
Anthony
Barrett.
Kakache and Zelfa Barrett, yeah.
Like, you look at those...
And he's gone the distance with all of them.
And
so
Archie
he's very
Sharp, I think he maybe...
Correct. And
drew
again,
or lost to.
distance again. So he's very durable and tough. Look at this
Serious
guy.
glove knowledge.
This guy's got box
And
strike
look,
right in front of him, by the way.
Hang about. Watch that. Hold that.
Hold that. Who are you? I thought you were from Bath.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what came over me there. They're both good fighters.
Yeah.
They're both game. They're both decent domestic level fighters, and that is what this card looked. It's very domestic, I think is the right word for it. And I'm not mad at that at all. You know, Jack Turner, exciting against an Argentinian. They don't get stopped, will they? We'll find out. Henry Turner, obviously off the back of a loss, but exciting. Louis Richardson, the Olympian, quality fighter. Stephen Cairns, Irish fighter. I watched him down in the York Hall. He's a serious fighter. I think he's a Ben Davison fighter, possibly. I can't remember, but either way, I know he's serious. I reckon on DAZN, without pay-per-view, which it will be, I might be tuning in for this one.
Oh, I'll definitely be watching.
For the co-main and main event, yeah.
If it was TNT Sport, I might be thinking,
Queensbury doing
in the morning.
The
But on
best.
DAZN?
Oh, it's because you didn't have a TNT subscription. was it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm just
not
same
paying.
with me. Same with Daily Motion and all that we were on.
I am really glad that they're both on DAZN now, though. But
Oh, it's great.
Queensbury
It's-
are doing by far and away the best work domestically, I think.
Yeah, but they have
Stacked.
stupidly, extortionately large stable. Like, they just have everyone. Like, everyone is a Queensbury fighter. So I think it is easier to do the bigger shows.
Yeah,
but they are doing them.
but
so.
they've got that big stable because they've invested in
yeah.
domestic talent.
Yeah. Whereas obviously Matchroom have a few eggs in America and Australia,
Mexico,
and different boxes.
yeah.
So it makes sense. But like you say, for us British boxing fans, the Queensbury shows perhaps give us more.
I'm really
do.
looking forward to this main event, though.
And that Jack Turner fight.
It's a tough fight,
I'm looking
though.
forward to Jack Turner being tested again. And I say tested, and it's tested because they're tough buggers. Do you know one of the two men that Moses Toma has gone the distance with? Argentinian. The other one, Ukrainian. They're two nations that don't get stopped. And an Argentinian went 6 rounds with him in his 4th or 5th. And not this Argentinian, of course. He hasn't lost that much weight to drop down to fight Jack Turner at super flyweight. But Jack Turner is a live wire, big hitter at the weight, and
Exciting. Very exciting.
it will be a good one. It will be a good watch. I'll definitely tune in for that one. And then obviously, like I said, down under over in Australia, you've got Jake Wiley, the recent Matchroom.
I'm happy as well for Jake Wiley. I think after that Cambosis Jr. fight, he deserved the performance that he put in. I think a lot of us didn't expect that sort of performance when I think he was a late call-up to that, weren't he? And
day before or so.
Put in a decent performance where he went the distance. I hope I'm got that right now.
Or was it a really late stoppage?
It
I
could have
can't
been
remember.
a really late stoppage, one or the other. But he, like Eddie Hearn
I think
said,
it was the distance. You're right.
he got a contract and now he's main eventing down under. It's great to see, and it's also great to see Skye Nicolson back. I think, she moved
Down.
down
She's
away.
down
Yeah,
at
I was
super
about to say
bantamweight
down.
now. This is her first fight at super bantam. The last fight was a sort of catch weight, and then this one is her first one at
And she
officially at super bantam.
made a statement in her last fight when obviously coming off that loss to Tiara Brown, which hopefully she could maybe get a sort of rematch late this year or maybe early next year. That'll probably end up being over in America somewhere. But it's great to see Skye Nicolson back out. It's good that, Eddie Hearn has been growing fighters from that part of the world over here in the UK. Skye Nicolson is based in the UK, ain't she? But it's good that she can go back and fight in front of her own people. Should be good. And yeah, like I said, for Wiley, it's just great to see that someone who was given an opportunity that, he did. Well, Cambosis Jr. won that fight comfortably, didn't he? But he's coming back and he's got that opportunity now to main event, and it's probably a dream come true for the boy.
I think people like Jake Wiley and Josh Padley are good examples, though, and of sometimes it is worth rolling that dice because you get so much, even though both of them, Padley rolled the dice the first time and changed his life basically, but even against Shakur Stevenson, got in there in a world title fight. Wiley was the same. Like, they've set themselves up nicely now for like their career going forward because of willing to put themselves in that position. It don't always pay off because we've seen people sometimes take that jump and it knocks them back. But in terms of Wiley and Josh Padley, it's really worked out from signing a matchroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's coming off a first round stoppage as well, Wiley. So
yeah, he did have that one fight. But with the Skye Nicolson fight, like, how quickly do you think she's going to be back up with the titles? Because obviously there was a point in time where she really looked, untouchable really until that Tiara Brown fight. And then now, when you look at Super Bantamweight, you got the likes of Ellie Scotney at the very, very top of it. Lamineth Mercado, some fighters like that are decent operators. Like, surely she's going to be up and about there pretty damn soon. That Ellie Scotney fight, now a
most valuable promotion.
MVP fighter. You can't help but think if they get that phone call for that payday that Skye would be, lapping that up. But it's not an easy fight.
That Eddie and MVP have got a good relationship with one another.
I was going to say, I'd like to see that Jake Paul, Eddie Hearn build up to that one.
Oh, yeah.
Bit like with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, wasn't it?
Yeah. There was a sort of...
First time round that was, wasn't it, at MSG?
Yeah. So there was that sort of little bite between them, but, perfectly respectful. But yeah, Ellie Scotney, Skye Nicolson for a fight for the future is serious up at Super Bantamweight. So we'll have to see. Let's load up the Boxing News app for our predictions. If you guys want to do and play along with us, then we do the predictions on the Boxing News app. We're not sponsored. We're not in association with.
Would love to, though.
We'd love to be, though.
Would love to. Make sure to add that bit in.
Yeah, we would love to be. Yeah. Get involved. Let's hope it's on there, because if it's not, then
it is. There's loads of fights on there as well.
Woohoo!
Which is good to see.
Rafferty versus Mark Chamberlain. While mine's loading quickly.
Lewis Richardson and Spatar.
Spatar, who you were convinced you'd seen fight.
I still feel like I have.
I still know you haven't.
Oh, I've watched him on TV.
But Louis Richardson, I think, is going to get a points decision victory. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, points decision victory for Lewis Richardson, yeah.
Very easy. Stephen Cairns versus Kirk Stevens, a lightweight 8-rounder. I mentioned Cairns before. He's exciting. He's a good fighter. What's your prediction for that one?
I've gone Cairns by stoppage.
What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I agree.
I think Kirk Stevens is probably a tough bugger, but I still do, yeah. I think that Cairns will get the finish. Henry Turner, Ivan Blazovic. I'm going for a Turner points decision.
Am I going to go first at any point here?
No.
Sorry, I copy you.
Yeah, my bad.
Turner points decision, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Turner points as well.
And then Jack Turner versus Nicholas Muruguratha, super flyweight 10-rounder. What are you going for that one, Harry?
I'm going to go for a relentless performance by Jack Turner. I'm not going to go with your theory. I'm going to go against it, and I think with the 10 rounds that they've got scheduled, I think that gives Turner enough time to get to Nicholas, and he'll get him out of there after 6 rounds.
Yeah, I know you were probably going to go points decision, but I'm going stoppage as well.
Yeah, you asked me before this, I think it was going to be a stoppage or not, and I said it would be, but that was just a red herring.
Just playing with us.
Mind games. You do not stop an Argentinian. You do not. They're unstoppable. Zach Miller, Leon Woodstock, featherweight 12-rounder. Miller points decision, I think, on that one.
Yep, yeah. Miller points decision.
This is a bit of a boring one, this one. In the main event,
I think this may split us.
Jack Rafferty versus Mark Chamberlain, super lightweight, 12-rounder for the Commonwealth and British titles. Harry,
let him go first, because he's checking through all the...
Reading the stats. I have a fact for you guys.
Rafferty stoppage.
Yeah, I've gone Rafferty stoppage as well.
After all that.
Rafferty points decision.
Ooh,
don't think he stops him. Don't think he stops him.
Just gone
Based off that, by my predictions, it's going to be a long night. I think I've got it going 40.
To be fair, Queensbury are known for
long
late shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else going on in the world of boxing at the moment? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. We've obviously covered off Jake Paul and AJ and Tony Yoka. We've ticked off a little while yet before we get Canelo Crawford.
Eubank and Ben's coming up, but we talked about that.
Did we? Have we talked about the rematch of that?
So.
I mean, you talked about it in our magazine, which is still available. We sort of handful available, so drop us a message if you want one of those. But are we happy with seeing it?
Isn't it happening?
I believe it's happening.
Well, Adam
December.
Smith on commentary.
No, it's November now, isn't it?
November, is it?
He said live on DAZN, so it must be happening.
Oh, there you go.
Penciled in somewhere.
Fair enough. We happy to see it?
No.
Well, you did say really. So. You've got a whole article about why not.
Yeah, exactly. My answer to that is read what Ben's thoughts are.
Fair enough.
Shared.
I'm not mad at it. I think it's exciting.
I'm still going to sit there and watch
exactly.
it. But I would have rather seen them both fight someone else now.
I think. Is there something to be said for the fact we might get a full Chris Eubank Senior promotion at least?
That's what
will make it worth it if he's there for the old fight week.
Yeah. Do you know what they should do? So obviously they can't probably trust the two fighters to have a face off without laying hands on each other. Just get the dads to do it instead. Just get Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn to do it instead. But then obviously Conor Benn's
should do a double face off.
Conor Benn's been busy doing SCS Who Dares Wins or whatever. So, you know.
Yeah.
I think
he had a fight with Troy Deeney,
technical draw versus Troy Deeney, yeah.
Did he?
Yeah. Well, obviously.
No, they rugby tackled each other at one point.
The British Boxing Board of Control was sanctioning it, but there was an official draw on the SAS scorecards, so
Troy Deeney's at all the fight nights these days. I met him.
He is, yeah, because he does
the
stomping ground. He was doing stuff with the stomping ground with Parsons, and then he does Talk Sport, who obviously get involved in the boxing a little bit. So yeah,
there's not many talking points around boxing at the moment, is there? Apart from it's good though when there's
surprisingly quiet.
Yeah, something's coming.
Waiting for something, aren't we?
Do you know this comes out on Thursday? We film this on Monday. Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua gets announced
on probably about 4:00 tonight.
Yeah. It always happens.
It's going to happen, but never mind. I think that pretty much wraps it up. I've got to get off. I've got to go watch Leeds win the first game of the Premier League season. So,
by the time this comes out, you'll either be sad or you'll be preparing for your second match. Jack Grealish hat-trick. Imagine that.
No, not a fan of toffees. More of a tablet man myself. More of a fudge man. Up the fudges. Anyway, strange tangent. Thank you all for sticking. I apologise for whatever this has been. What you guys won't know as well, I'll let you in on this. If you stay to the end, you get to know this as well. We had to cancel our last recording about 3 minutes in because me and Harry got in a giggling fit while Ben was speaking. It was a whole mess. I had to go to the toilet and sort of calm myself down. It was. We won't let you.
I nearly lost myself at the start of the podcast as well.
Oh, this one, you had a little look because he said,
yeah.
We had a little giggle about a few things, but it's all fun. You don't get to find out why, unfortunately, because we fancy keeping our platform without any issues. But thank you all for sticking by whatever the hell this past half an hour has been. I promise you, next week you'll be getting 2 podcasts with a little bit more of a succinct feel to them.
Are we promising 2 podcasts next week? Is there much on?
Should I have done that? Is that a bad idea?
I think you should be making promises.
Well, I promise you'll get something. Thank you all for tuning in this week, and if you haven't already, check out our review show earlier in the week when we talk about Moses Atoma, and obviously next week we'll bring you some form of content. There's loads of content on the channel at the moment from the Welsh title fights we were at, all sorts of great stuff. And if you missed it, podcast with Andy Oladipo, all sorts of great content. So stick around. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next week. Leave them hanging a bit.
Punches chance. Punches Chance Podcast.